if they win it the very season after you left, the optics are too obvious to ignore. This is what you guys are here for, man. It's a scary narrative. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's a very scary narrative that's brewing right now. You know, Mbappe is sweating. He's sweating. So this is what I always said for Mbappe, which is why, like, at the very last minute, I said that Mbappe, maybe you should stay. Because what did I always say? One UCL for PSG is worth about 50 for Real Madrid. It doesn't matter how many Champions Leagues Mbappe wins for Real. One of those for PSG would have been priceless. Absolutely priceless. And that was Mbappe's dream. Because Mbappe wins a Champions League for Real Madrid. Okay, cool. You know, that's for your personal legacy. He wins one for PSG. That, and especially it's being their very first one, that is legacy defining. That's something Cristiano can say, Messi can say, Neymar can say, or anyone can say that you were a frontman that led a club to their very first Champions League. You know, so for Mbappe, he is sweating because let the unthinkable not happen. Because I think that for like the narrative is you can't ignore it. Let's say for the next few seasons, PSG struggle to make it through. They struggle to make it through. Then let's say they won it or they got to the final in the 6th, 7th season. They'll be like, hey, you know what? They eventually got there, but because what we thought was when Mbappe leaves, you'll see how they'll struggle. Man, we don't have a guy to go to. We don't have a guy to go to. So they'll struggle to make it to a quarter to a semis. This season, the very next season that you leave, they make it to the final. And they look this cohesive. They look this impressive, where there is not even a hint that you've been missed. Oh, it's glaring. It's the very next season you leave. So 1,000%, if they say, yo, Mbappe held this team back, it can be true. And we'll get to if the unthinkable happens. I'm going to get to if the unthinkable happens, but already, even if the unthinkable doesn't happen, they made the final with a much harder path. Because when you made the final, it was a much easier path. This was a much harder path, which most people would say was an inferior team, with no Marco and no Nene and without you. So Mbappe viewing this 100% he feels badly, and I think to even compound it, it's look at it. I mean, yeah, it's about juxtaposing it. In a vacuum, let's see how the La Liga goes. Now, if Real end up trophyless and Mbappe wins the Pichichi, personally, you did your thing, but a trophyless season is a trophyless season and you'll get cooked. You know? Now, if you win the league, with what you've done, that's still a pretty impressive debut. But if PSG do the unthinkable and you end up trophyless, this could go down as an all-timer of an all-time L. Like, I can't think of a worse L than if Mbappe and Real go trophyless and PSG go ahead and do the unthinkable. Then it could genuinely be and the biggest L a player has ever taken. Because I cannot think of a bigger L that a player has taken if that happens, if those things happen, if PSG go all the way. And I mean, go all the way and clinch that trophy, and you, in your first season with Real Madrid, end up trophyless. It could be wild. So, I mean, it's because Mbappe right now, because he may not say it in public, but in private, in the privacy of his thoughts, Mbappe must be thinking that, should I have left? Now, if you're PSG and you're the PSG fan, initially you would have been angry at him. But if you're the PSG fan now, you're like, thank God he left. Because by him leaving, it's opened up Dembele, it's introduced Kivicha, and look at how well this team is playing as a team. Because if Mbappe still is there, does Kivicha arrive? And I'm sorry, what Kivicha has brought to this team is way more than what Mbappe brought to the team last season. Now, let's keep it real. Mbappe, initially, when he arrived at PSG, he was amazing. But if you look at Mbappe in his final season for PSG and what Kivicha has done for PSG in January, Kivicha is an upgrade. It sounds crazy because it's Mbappe, but Kivicha has been an upgrade on Mbappe on that left-hand side, comparing to Mbappe's last season at PSG. And we all know what Ousmane Dembele's numbers have been and what Dembele has done. So you take everything into account, PSG have improved and they've gotten better by removing Mbappe. But they've got to catch that check. If PSG lose the final, this has still been an extremely successful season. If PSG lose the final, everything I said still stands. That this team got better without Mbappe. It was the right decision to get rid of Mbappe, and they have improved and gotten better as a unit without Mbappe. That still stands even if they lose the final. If PSG win this Champions League, I don't know how Mbappe recovers. I don't know. Because even if Mbappe goes crazy and insane for Real Madrid, it's still Real Madrid. They've still won UCLs. If PSG win this Champions League without you, but hear me and hear me now, if they win it the very season after you left, the optics are too obvious to ignore. They're too obvious to ignore. It was the very season you left. It is obvious that you held us back. And you were the reason why we couldn't say what's up. You were the reason we couldn't beat Dortmund. Think about becoming a Football Hut member. If you're a desktop merchant, just click on the join button below, over here. Or if you're a mobile phone merchant, just click on the join button below the video over here and join the true elite content crack addicts. Peace.